Good morning and welcome to PWR Today, along with, wait a minute, along with the man they call Matthew Thomas. I am the man they call Meathead. Nothing but a little meathead in your cup in the morning. Hey, the best part of waking up is the meathead in your cup. Matthew Thomas, how long has it been? How many years have you been gone?
Well, top of the morning to you, Meathead. I am honored to be your the Becky Donaldson to your Danny Tanner.
Yeah, we are doing San Francisco Today or San Francisco AM or whatever they called it. But Matthew Thomas, it's been about a minute since you've been in the PWR world. I'm happy to have you here. Welcome back, Matthew Thomas, to the Pro Wrestling Report family, if you will. And you never really left. I mean, there was that time you were late on the street. Matter of fact, Matthew, when is the earliest time you and I have ever talked to each other? I mean, I swear to God, we have only talked to each other at the nighttime.
I know we in the past, we've kind of been those night owls, but we're changing things around. And, it's such an honor to be able to wake up with you, not you in particular, but being able to wake up with our loyal listeners.
Yeah, because trust me, I'm not waking up next to Matthew Thomas. That is not happening. Man, Matthew, glad to have you back again. This is PWR Today for Wednesday, May 20th, 2020. Let's start off the conversation, get the pleasantries out of the way, and it's the pressing matter that's still out there. As of this recording, we do not have any new information on Shad Gaspard, other than to say that the family has put out a statement. They appreciate the love. They appreciate the everybody's concern and the prayers. But right now, the LAPD and the Coast Guard and all that, they've called off the search for now. It is not officially known what has happened yet, and that's got to be the worst part, man. I mean, put yourself in this family's shoes, the wife, the son, who, again, Matthew, I don't know if you heard, Shad and his son were swimming off the coast of California, and they got pulled out. They said it was about, according to the lifeguard, about 70 yards out from beach, and one of the riptides got a hold of them. The lifeguard goes out there. As the lifeguard is going to get at Shad, Shad yells, "Go get my son." The lifeguard goes to help the son, brought the son in, and he lost contact with Shad. The lifeguard obviously signed on for this kind of duty. It is what it is. Shad took care of his kid. I mean, like any father would, to make sure that his son was okay. They've called off the search for now. And they've lost contact with him. This has got to be the worst thing ever for the family because it's a state of not knowing. It's a state of, not to say that it would be better to know that Shad had washed up and he's not around anymore, but just holding on to a string of hope that, man, Matthew Thomas, tell us how you feel.
Yeah, no, it's an awful situation all the way around. And, of course, you hold out every last little bit of hope that you do have for the best. And, looking at the situation as far as what it is, you're right. I mean, that state of limbo, that state of not knowing is terrible. And you certainly feel for the family. And, hopefully this plays out is in the best way that it can, whatever that is at this juncture. It's just it's a horrible situation, for everybody involved. Glad to hear the son is all right and was rescued, and what a wonderful act by him to to defer the attention to the son. And you just hope, if there's with any little slim chance that there is, that this turns out in some type of positive way, but just an all-around horrible situation.
Yeah, and again, Damian and I had spoke about it yesterday. One of my fondest memories. And Matthew, I don't recall this. I know you were at WrestleMania 24, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was indeed.
Did you go to Raw the next night?
I did not. I was out of Orlando the day after.
Gotcha. So Damian and I were at that Raw, and that's when Crime Time returned, if you recall. Just hearing, yo, 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 yo. I legitimately popped because I thought Crime Time was fun. I really enjoyed it, and them selling some WWE merchandise out of the back trunk of the car. It was just fun stuff for me. Reminded me of the good old days back in Bayview. You know what I mean?
Of course I know what you mean.
Do you know what it is I am saying? So we will try to keep you up to date here at PWR360.com. And again, pray against hope, or hope against hope. Pray as much as you can. I want this to turn out. I want us to be talking about it tomorrow or the next day, that at the very least they found him.
Right.
But at the very most, he's hanging on, and was it, kind of hanging on, but he was safe. He made it. He made it somewhere. Maybe he got picked up, something, anything. I mean, we don't want to just make up scenarios. I hope everything turns out the best it can. So let's move on to something else. Let's talk about, did you watch episodes 1 and 2 of The Undertaker Last Ride?
I did. I am all caught up on The Last Ride. And just let me say, what did you ever think you would, despite all of the behind the curtain, despite everything that you have seen in the last decade and a half, did you ever think you would get this in-depth of a look at The Undertaker?
We've gotten in-depth looks at other talents, other performers, but not The Undertaker. The Undertaker was the old school guy that you didn't see normally at the Hall of Fame, except for during the, Dead Man Walking, biker Undertaker, if you will, American Badass. This is a guy that didn't do interviews, except for during that time as well. He was a man that protected the gimmick, protected the business, and, he just didn't give that out. He didn't care. I mean, I didn't know what to expect when I saw episode 1 and 2, but now that I saw it, I want to see at least 10 more, 20 more. And I know there's not 10 or 20 more. I think it was a 5-part documentary, but I absolutely am just enthralled. When it's on, I didn't know I was going to get this much Michelle McCool, which is not a bad thing. But I've got real Mark Calloway. Mark is talking to me. And if there was one thing I could say to Mark Calloway, is that because he seems in these 2 episodes that he was worried about what legacy he left, right? He was worried about how am I going to be viewed after I stopped working, after I stopped wrestling matches? I'm telling you, as a fan, as one of the WWE universe, Mark, we view you in the highest regard. It doesn't matter what you do from here on out. There is nothing you could do to tarnish the way we look at you. You've done it, brother. Come home. It's okay. You don't have to work anymore. Matthew, your thoughts?
100%. And you just at the very end of that encapsulated what I really wanted to talk about from this. 2 episodes in, it is hard lobbying to see him wrestle again. Like seeing what he's gone through, and you knew the injury issues were there, but seeing this behind the scenes look, seeing the surgery, seeing, him in pain, as much as we want to see him wrestling at all these WrestleManias down the road, actually seeing it behind the scenes now, it is really hard for me personally, to feel good about another Undertaker match, just because you are seeing what he's got to do to make his body cooperate. And keep in mind, we're not at present time yet. We're still a couple of years ago when this was filmed, and
Yes.
Seeing the pain and seeing the work, and seeing the trouble that it must be to procure an adequate abandoned jet ski building to set up a ring to practice in. You really feel, for the guy, and you're exactly right as it pertains to the legacy. I think more than anything, nobody watching this, nobody that's going to take the time to watch this, wants to see him jeopardize his health, wants to see him, put his well-being in danger. And man, it's just that's been my takeaway from this. As much as I have loved having the behind the scenes look, it's really, it really makes it hard for me to really get behind another Taker match, as hard as that is to say.
I would enjoy it. I mean, that's going to be his choice, because, giving up the electricity of the crowd, giving up the build up to the match, giving up the build up, because WrestleMania is not his baby, but it's, as close to his baby as it is Vince McMahon's. Giving up that, I don't want to take that from him either. However, if you have to make that trade, if you have to make that choice between being able to play with the kids for an extra 10 to 15 years or maybe one or two more WrestleMania matches, it's okay. You don't have to work. Come home. We love you. You can be done if you want to be done. You don't owe us anything. We're okay. And again, it hit 4 or 5 times in the car when he was driving to, the match, it's driving to the doctor, whatever. Him saying that, man, I just don't want to, take a spot on the card. Anytime I'm on WrestleMania, there might be a guy that worked all year long that won't be able to be on WrestleMania because I'm on the card. I need to work to make sure that I've earned my spot. It's okay, Mark. It's okay. As much as we love you being there, you don't have to do this anymore. Your legacy is cemented. There is nothing that's going to take that away from us or from you. You are the man, not Becky Lynch. You're not Ric Flair. You are the Undertaker, the dead man. And Matthew, the WrestleMania performance that happened this year with AJ Styles, you want to talk about, like I said, I got excited seeing Crime Time show up. I really lost it seeing my favorite Undertaker show up, the biker, the American Badass. That was phenomenal. No pun intended, AJ, but I was happy to see the American Badass. And that's ironic because, again, we got Last Ride Undertaker is the name of the documentary, and we had the last time possibly that we see the Undertaker wrestle, work, come out and do his thing as the American Badass. That's my favorite Undertaker. What say you, Matthew Thomas?
Yeah, and what a great example of WWE working with the cards that were put on the table this year for WrestleMania in that match. The likelihood of something similar, had the unforeseen circumstances not been what they were, it probably would have looked much different. And actually watching this documentary, it doesn't hurt my feelings at all to see a match that you could gradually film and, you did not necessarily have to have him leaving it all in the ring like most likely would have happened had it been a traditional WrestleMania match. But no, this has been such an unprecedented time, and I thought that was a highlight of WrestleMania this year. And you're right, you were able to get all your variations of The Undertaker in, and something that was fun, that was entertaining, that made sense, that really was a great example of WWE taking this situation and thinking outside the box, doing something a little bit. I mean, we've seen things close to this before. We got something similar with Bray Wyatt and Orton a few years ago, and WWE has done this in some capacity. But this year, it really felt right. And how great was it? I believe it was in the last episode of the Last Ride that he made the comment several years ago that he really wished he'd gotten the chance to work with AJ and actually seeing that program pan out this year. I want to go back to the last episode, though. One thing that I was hoping we got a little bit more of that we did not get a ton of explanation was the build to the Cena match. You and I, we were covering that when it went down, and it was such a strange build because it was never officially announced. It was never officially advertised. And we got it about halfway through the card with Cena in the audience. And I was hoping there would very least be some type of explanation as to why they went ahead with it like that, as to why they never officially announced it and had the build. We didn't get that. We did get Taker being disappointed in the length of it, though, because it was around a 5-minute match. And he made the comment in the documentary that he was ready for 45 and they gave him 5. So, we know it was, it was something that he had been training for, that he was ready for. So really wish we had a little bit more explanation of why it was built like that. But otherwise, I mean, what an excellent peek behind the curtain, and just a really well thought out series. I mean, this has been, I think this was initially filmed in 2017 was roughly when the start of this was filmed. So to get that progression over the last handful of years, I mean, this is a great piece of documentary film work from the WWE.
Honestly, I do believe that this is and I'm not trying to, say it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but I would say this is the quintessential documentary that we've done on the WWE network.
Yeah.
Since the network was launched, we've been given shows like Legends House and, the cartoons with, Mick Foley farting on fire or whatever it is. This is what I want to see. So WWE, if you're listening, this is the kind of thing that I absolutely enjoy. You've got 24, you've got Road to WrestleMania, you got 365, whatever they're called. This is absolutely phenomenal. Again, no
Well,
pun.
and I think too, and this will be a topic for another time, but competition is a good thing. And for so long, as far as high value production wrestling documentaries, WWE, the in-house stuff has been the only game in town. You've got a powerhouse now with Dark Side of the Ring being in its second season.
Yeah.
So you have got other companies that are stepping up in a big way for these pro wrestling documentaries. So I think it's only going to make what WWE produces better.
Yeah. And tomorrow, coming up on PWR Today, we will be talking about Dark Side of the Ring, the Owen Hart story, which is the season finale. So make sure you tune back into PWR Today, PWR 360, and all the socials. Speaking of socials, Matthew, let the fine folks know that I've forgotten. What's the handle on the Twitter?
That you can find me at The Real M. Thomas on Twitter.
The Real M. Thomas on Twitter at twitter.com.
Absolutely.
And WCW Meathead right here. Let's kind of segue real quick before we wrap this up here. We've got about, say, 5 minutes. But while WrestleMania was a 2-night event, and we had a beautiful cinematic match between AJ and The Undertaker, I want to know your overall thoughts since we've been Performance Center, and we're going to be Performance Center for a little bit yet. What are your thoughts on the day-to-day product that we're getting? The Monday shows, the Wednesday shows, the Friday shows, and the pay-per-view shows.
The impression that I have been left with thus far is WWE is trying to take their normal Raw, their normal SmackDown, copy and paste it into the Performance Center. And there are things that they have to be adapted and that has to evolve. I think the concept of, I think there's way too many promos in a given show. Coming out, starting the show.
How do you think about, or what do you think about the lasers? Are there enough lasers on the show?
Here's my thing, and they've done a little bit better job with it in the last several weeks, but whatever you can do in production to minimize the shots where the fan is in view, I am consistently distracted by the fan, by the ceiling fan.
Doesn't that ceiling fan have a Twitter handle now too? Like WWE ceiling fan?
I think it does. I know there was actually a t-shirt, I believe, that was an actual official WWE t-shirt, with the fan at one point. Yeah, I mean, little things like that. And we won't go too far into AEW, but you look at what AEW is doing right now, production wise, I think it is a much better produced product. It seems to fit the context of what we've got with the empty arenas. WWE, it feels like the shows are, you're taking what you would normally do for a Raw or a SmackDown with, a promo directed towards the crowd with the bulk of, everything, all the promos in ring. AEW's done a really solid job with a lot more produced vignettes, that type of stuff, which seems to feel a lot better in this environment. The WWE product just seems to be the traditional product trying to put in that setting. And it feels like there has got to be, additional adaptations made. Even the week-to-week storytelling, you're still building towards your monthly pay-per-views. The shows are still, in a sense, trying to quote unquote sell the pay-per-views. AEW, a lot of important things week to week with the tournament for the TNT title. They have made the in-ring wrestling matter much more week to week, which I think is crucial. It's crucial in this environment. I will say what I think they're getting right on Raws and on SmackDowns that I think they're still missing on pay-per-views. The announce team being as far back as they can be near the entrance, I think is a good thing. I'm sure you've noticed on the pay-per-views at WrestleMania, Money in the Bank, you're actually getting shots. When the announced team is ringside, there are actually replays that they cut to where you can hear the call of the announced team in the background of the replay,
Yeah.
not the mic call, but you're just in such a closed environment there. And I will say this, the AEW introduction of the talent ringside, I think, is the most significant difference that anything is making during this strange period that we're in. At least with me, having that audience noise doesn't have to be a big audience, doesn't have to be anything overwhelming, but it is enough to break that eerie, odd silence. To me, the biggest thing that anybody has done at this point during these empty arena shows is introduce a small crowd ringside. And I know it's a little bit strange, and I know on paper it doesn't sound like it would make a ton of sense having your roster sitting ringside. But man, just that type of noise, just to break the silence, to me has made all the difference in the world.
Huge difference in the world. Real quick, we got about a minute left here. AEW's got a pay-per-view this Saturday night, Double or Nothing. We at the PWR Draft. Have you heard, Matthew, about this PWR Draft?
I've heard bits and pieces, although I to the best of my knowledge, due to the selective service law that was passed several decades ago, I do not believe I am eligible for the draft.
You are not. However, the draft, where you're supposed to gain positive points, has left Damian Nelson after the first pay-per-view event at negative points. We will find out on Saturday who Damian Nelson will pick if it's from AEW, because AEW's Double or Nothing ladder match will be considered a Money in the Bank match, which will have additional points to it. So make sure you turn it into primetime this Saturday night. Right there at PWR360.com. Man, Matthew, we could go another 20, another 40, but we are out of time. So I'm so happy to have you back. I think we're going to hear from you on Thursday morning, aren't we?
You are correct on that.
Might be Friday morning. I don't know. I have to check the schedule. I think we're going to hear from you Friday morning. So we'll have to check on that.
Well, you know what? No matter what morning it is, it's always great to hear from you, Meathead.
Absolutely. Again, I'm not used to talking to you during the daylight, but folks, thank you for stopping by. This is PWR Today for the real Matthew Thomas. I'm the man they call Meathead. We will talk to you again tomorrow. So long, everyone.